Hello, this is Fearless Ministries. Today we're going to be talking about what it truly means to give yourself to Christ. I know I've talked about this before, but I want to say that, a lot of times when we give ourselves to Christ, we don't know what we're really getting into. We think, like I thought when I was 10, I first gave my life to Christ when I was 10 years old in 2000. No, it wasn't 2010. I think it was 2008. I think it was January 15th, 2008. I gave my life to Christ right then and there. And I committed my life to Christ. And I literally thought that all the pain that I had, everything was just going to go away. And everything was just going to get better. I literally thought like a freaking fairy tale or something was going to happen. Obviously, that's not true. When you give your life to Christ, things get harder. You have someone to answer to now. You have more. You're tried and tempted even more because the devil's listening to your prayers and everything you're asking God for. The devil's right there. Well, okay, Lord. Well, let me do this to her and see how she responds. Let's see how she responds if I do that. Let's see how she responds if I do this. Let's see what he says then. And they asked for it, right? So you have to be tested with your faith. Your faith has to be tried. So then you get tested, and then something happens, and then it's up to you, pass or fail. How strong is your faith? God already knows, but anyway, things get harder when you first give yourself to Christ. And that's the point I'm trying to make. If you're not committed to sacrifice something, if you're not expecting to lose people, to lose things, because Jesus says you deny yourself, you crucify your flesh, and that means all your desires, everything you want, every single thing that you could ever possibly want in this world, you are crucifying it to that cross and you are giving it to God. And you are saying, I rid myself of me, I give myself to you. In order for this to happen, you really have to think twice about giving your life to Christ. It's not, Jesus does love you. He does have a plan for your life. But life itself isn't never easy. And especially when you're fighting for your soul. You gotta remember something. There was a battle that started a long time ago before you were born. That started with God and the devil. And the devil's way of getting back at God is through his children. So the battle is for your soul. He wants to take as many people to hell as he can. So it's going to be a constant fight through your Christian life. It's going to be a constant fight. It's going to be like warfare. And it's just like everywhere you come across, you just wonder, why do I keep hitting a block? Why do I keep hitting a wall? And the reason why is because you're trying to go toward God. Have you ever noticed how a lot of the Christians back then in the Bible got persecuted and killed in a horrible way? Let me tell you why. The devil knew he couldn't have them spiritually. So he decided that I'm going to torture you. I'm going to make you suffer. I'm going to, maybe if he just instilled the thought of pain and fear in their life, maybe then they're going to give up. And that's what the devil's always looking for. How can I get her to give up? How can I think her to think negative and just quit? How can I get him or her to just completely just draw away? So he will send any kind of arrow he can at your life. Anything that you're letting him, and we let him in different ways, but it will always be warfare. When you give your life to Christ, it's always warfare. There's always something. And you can't trust nobody. You cannot trust your own emotions. You cannot trust how you feel. Because how you feel, if it speaks louder than your spirit, it gets more difficult. Like I said before, Jesus does love you. But there is, there's a battle. And it's certain spirits that'll be around you. And they're sent there to you to get you off track. They're sent to you to attack you. And it's because you are God's, and the devil's just probably just pissed because he can't have you. So he's like, well, I'm going to attack her as much as I can. I'm going to get her to kill herself. I'm going to do whatever I can to make her give up on you so that way she'll be mine. And like I said, this has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with the fact that you're God's child and the devil's just mad because he lost the battle a long time ago and he was defeated a long time ago. So now you're involved because you gave your life to Christ. He was like, well, damn, I had her, but she gave her life to Christ now. So I don't got her no more. So what can I do? I'm going to make everything go wrong. I'm going to make her family persecutor. I'm going to make everything just go wrong. And then everything starts going wrong. Rejoice in hard times. Jesus says so. When you are being persecuted, rejoice. He says so in his word. Just remember. It's just mainly just remember what you're getting into. And don't be afraid to get into it. I mean, is the battle worth fighting for your soul to get into heaven? Is it worth being with God forever? I bet you if you could ask the people that were crucified. Paul, Simon, Peter was crucified upside down. Paul was beheaded and he was whipped. Matthew was dragged to pieces. Now, these sound like horrible deaths to you. But are they sitting on the right hand of God? That's what matters. That's what matters. It's not about what you do. I mean, it's not about how you die. Because the death is just the last thing. That's just like, you know what? Take me. I'm ready to go. You understand? So I'm just trying to say, Christians are persecuted a lot more because the devil has the world to hate God for this life, even though he's the one that made it more difficult to begin with. But it's like he makes the music sound like lust and you know, like Christians are persecuted a lot more because, like I said, it's a battle for your soul. So if the devil could get everyone to just hate God, well, I might have a winning chance. And that's all it's about. Believe it or not, it's just about your soul. So all I want to say is remember, always, when you give your life to Christ, you have to expect certain things. You're going to expect warfare, persecution. You're going to expect having to give sacrifice, deny yourself. So always ask yourself. And I know they always like put a pep talk and they make it seem like it's so easy. Oh, I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not easy. So when you give yourself to God, make sure you're giving all of yourself and you are denying yourself. And you are putting your whole self on that cross. And expect some warfare. And expect people to look down on you. But at the end of the day, how much do you really love God? That's what it's about. That's what every single battle is about in your life. How much do you love God? Do you love me more than this? Do you love me more than him? Do you love me more than her? And also remember that you can't put nobody above God, because he who loves his father and mother more than me is not worthy of me. That's very hard, but it's very true. If you go based off your emotions, you can get caught in these situations where you are thinking of how you feel and you're not reacting on, like what you're supposed to do. So be careful with that. In your relationship with God, that will be tested. The devil will use people close to you. He will use those you love, especially those you love, and he will try to make you compromise. You will have a decision that you will have to make. And it's going to be very hard because you're going to want to go that way, but you're going to be like, oh, but I want it. And God's going to say, okay, that's what you really want. And then now you're living a whole life of disobedience and wonder why you got so much hell in your life, because you ran away from God, you disobeyed God, you didn't want to listen. And I'm not trying to be mean either. I'm just saying the truth. People live in disobedience. Things are twice as worse than what they once were. So I just wanted to leave that with y'all. I know I've been talking a lot. Damn. Almost 10 minutes. Well, I just wanted to leave that because it's been on my heart, and I just had to get it out there. Good night, guys. Face your fear and conquer it.